Okay, here's an update on my river table. It's upside down right now. I've got my 1/4-inch maple piece installed. Let's see if I can go around the bottom here and look up. Oh, you really can't see anything there. So what I've done is I'm not having any exposed fasteners holding this copper wrap. There's one of those copper sheets that cover. I think I can show that from underneath. I'm not sure how I'm attaching this to this yet, soldering. It'll be screwed along the edges. How I'm attaching this copper bar now is going to be a blind system. I'm using zip bolts. You get them like this for corners. And these are these ends that will thread as you turn a fastener, 4mm hex bit or something. You turn that in, that threads it in and out. So you just drill a 1-inch diameter hole down. And then these are 3/8 copper square stock, 1.5 inch long, and I've tested soldering this on the back of this copper, and I'm keeping below the anneal temperature of the copper, which is over 700 degrees, and I'm hoping to keep it below 500 soldering this on, and I've test soldered that on there, and I can't pull it off prying with a vice grip, so it's holding pretty good. And I was originally going to tap this, tap the end of this zip bolt, but now I'm thinking I'm just going to drill a hole. And when I solder this on there, I'll just have this piece inserted. So this gets soldered to this while that gets soldered to that. These will be, I will be milling a 1/64 slot on the other side. So it indexes where this goes so it can't move. And these are spaced there. I'm going to have one there. And then I'm going to go down on the end here. On this end where I have my cover piece. So again, I've got my wrap piece. I've got a separate piece here. There's going to be a slight gap there for expansion, and then that piece goes that way. And then this piece here, this will just have some countersunk holes because this is epoxied on in the middle there where the whole center is filled with epoxy. But right here, basically on these bars, I'm going to solder. This is going to be shifted over, but I got a clamp there. But this basically will have this bar soldered on here. And then this bar here, I'm going to cut a hole plus probably a good 3/16 to each side for expansion. So then this will have this zip bolt that's soldered in there. And then basically, once this bar is on with that bar will go through the other bar, that 3/8 key stock, I'm going to call it. That goes through the other bar and into the wood. So if you look straight down, it would probably sit right about like that. So I'm going to be able to. And the reason I'm using these keys is it's gonna, once it's set into the wood, it's gonna keep these bars located vertically, so this bar can't go up or down. But I will have a rabbeted hole in this end grain or along the sides of the top, which will allow this to slide. And then this would have an oversized hole back to this. So then this thing can just pivot like that as this copper wants to move. And I guess this is the other corner here where I've got a plate finished that covers this hole on this side like that. And that's the finish that I'm going with right there. I'm not going to be putting anything inside the epoxy, embedding anything glass or anything like that. I'm just going with a cleaner look, just clear plastic. So you can see on this side I have one of these attachment points here, one here, and one on the end. There's no glue or anything, and this one here will not be removable because once this is filled with epoxy, it's going to pretty much glue this copper to the table. And hopefully it's a small enough area where I won't have problems with expansion or contraction. This piece will be able to be removed. And since this has a bar going in the side, and I'm going to have one here. Of course, you can't stick something into the corner, so this slotted hole is going to have to be an extra 3/8 of an inch this way, so I can slide it in and then slide it in that way. So that's pretty much it for now. I will do another little video when I get this thing turned over and I get the sides attached and I start pouring the epoxy.